The topic is data hiding. So I'll be discussing about why we need data hiding and then what is actually mean of data hiding. Then I'll explain how data is hidden, how data hiding is done. Then if the data is hidden, then how it is accessible. So we will learn about property methods. So let us understand the concept behind data hiding. See, in our daily life, we find many engineered product like electronic engineered product or mechanical or automobile engineered product. For example, if you take a car or television or DVD player or mixer like that, there are many things that we find. There is one thing common among them. What is that? Let us see. If I take an example of television, on the front you find this is a display, right? And these are the buttons you will find that are options. Like you can switch on, switch off television, you can change the volume or change the channel. For that, buttons are available. So these are operations. And how actually the operations are done, that pressing of a button will cause that operation, but the actual operation is done inside. And inside that television, there is some circuitry and the picture tube, something is there inside. There is some circuit. So the actual operation is performed in the circuitry. That is done using pressing of a button. So as a user, we just press a button. If you want to do anything, just you press a button. We want any operation, we use that operation. But where the actual operation is performed is inside. So if I show you this one as this circuitry is data and these operations are methods, or in simple terms, these are functions, methods. This is data and these are the methods. When you call any method, when you press any button, means you are calling a method. So that operation is performed upon data. And now the important thing is, this data is hidden. It is covered inside a box. You cannot see the data, but what you can see, what you can access is operations. So if you want to do anything, if you want anything to happen inside the circuitry, you have to use buttons. You cannot open the box and directly play with the circuitry. You have to use buttons. What is the benefit of this one? It makes the using of this television easy for everybody. If these operations are not there, if people are asked to use this circuitry for making any changes, changing a channel or volume, then everybody should learn this. One should take a course on using television. So to make it simple, buttons are available. Now I have one more example. Say this is a car example and this is the engine of a car. And these are the pedals for acceleration and all, and this is steering. When you are using a car, you will use steering and the pedals for acceleration, brake and whatever it is. By using steering and those pedals, we perform operations. So these are operations. Where actually those operations are performed? Within an engine. Yes. So actually the operations are performed in an engine. So here also I can say that this engine is nothing but data. And these are operations like methods, or in simple terms, functions, but in OOPS we call them as methods. So data and methods. These methods are performed over this data, And again, the important thing is this engine is enclosed inside some block, some body, that is we call it as bonnet. So it is inside the bonnet. So it means if you know about the mechanism, these mechanism inside the engine, can you play around with it? Yes. But to make it simple and easy for everybody to drive a car, these operations are separately provided. And this engine is hidden. So from these two examples, we can come to conclusion that usually data is hidden and the operations are made visible. Operations are made visible and the operations or the methods are performed over the data only. So this is a common practice in every engineered product. So when we are making a software, then in software also it should be similar thing. Same thing should happen. So now let us look at our class. This class already we have written it. I have written a class rectangle and it is having two data members that are properties. We call them as properties. And these are the methods, functions, operations. If you take area method, it is performing operation on length and breadth. And if you take perimeter method, then it is performing operation upon length and breadth only. So all the methods of a class will use the data members or the properties of a class. Similar to this one, like these buttons perform operation on the circuitry and these pedals perform operation inside engine. These methods perform operation on data. So it is similar. But we find that this is hidden and it is not visible to the user. User should not go into the complexity of those things. And this is also hidden. User should not know the details of those things. He should enjoy using the product. So same way, here a user should enjoy using area and perimeter. He should not know that how to access length and how to access breadth. So that's what we prefer, following the same engineering principles, and we want to hide data. So now we will see how to hide data. See, I have written here public access modifier and public. So just change it to private. Data is hidden. Private. So data is hidden. So from whom data is hidden? So when you make that as private, then we cannot access that data outside the class. It is accessible to these methods. It's accessible to these methods because it is inside the class. So by writing private, what happens? Let us see. So here I will write down some code, then I will discuss about it. So here I have a class test, right? And inside this public static void main. So here I am creating an object of that class. When I create the object rectangle R assign new rectangle, this object is created, R is a reference, and this object is having length and breadth because these properties are there for them. Space is there, length is also there, breadth is also there, and also these methods are also available. Usually we don't show the method, so I did not write, so again I will include it. Area and perimeter, these are also there, right? So everything is there inside this object. But on this object I want to set the length as 10 and breadth as 5. So I will write like this: r dot length assign 10, r dot breadth assign 5. No, I cannot do this one. I cannot do this. I have an object. Upon an object, I cannot access those properties because those properties are made as private. They are not accessible outside the class. So here outside the class means I have created an object, so they are not accessible on object. They are not accessible. That's what. So we made it hidden. So we are saying that, okay, you have taken a rectangle, it's good, but you should not modify length and breadth by yourself. You use methods. Then what is the use? If I call r dot area, if I say system.out.println r dot area, then what it will be printing? As these variables are not initialized, they may have default values as zeros. Then if I print, I'll be getting 0 only. Area will be 0. Then actually I want to set this length and breadth. So I cannot do that because that is made as private. That's all. Data is hidden. Now if data is hidden, how we can access it then? How we can access? So for accessing the data, we should provide some methods. What we do with the data? We just read the data and write the data. So that's what we will write property methods. So what are property methods? I'll show you. First I will write down the methods for length, then I'll discuss. Here I have written two methods. First method is get length and second method is set length. Get length is having return type, that is integer. It will give you the value of length, and set length will take some length and I will set the length. It will set the length. So one is for writing the value of this property. One is for reading. This get length is for reading the value of that property and set length is for writing the value. As I said, we perform read and write operations on the data. So for both we have methods. So how we write these methods is we use the property name length, right? And for that we write get and set method. So for any property we write get and whatever the property name is. So get xxx and set, and then whatever the property name is, set xxx. So these are famous, getX method and setX method, or getter method and setter method. They are famous with the name getter and setter method. I have written only for length, so we should write down for breadth also, right? So I did not write, just length is sufficient for explanation. So assume that I have written for breadth also. So we write property methods. Why we are writing property methods? Because we made the data hidden. Then how we can access the data? Using this property method. So this property method knows very well how to access the data. how to access the data. So you should not mishandle the data, you should not misuse the data. So they take care of this one. So what the great thing it is doing, it's not doing anything. Get length means returning the value, set length means changing the value. Now I'll take one example. If I call this method by sending negative length, so do you think lengths can be negative? No. Then what this method can do, I will just change and show you. So here I have changed the method set length, it will take the length, and if length is greater than 0, then it will change that value of length with this L. Otherwise length is 0. It will set the length as 0 if you are giving any negative value. So it means it is validating the data, it is checking whether you are setting the proper value or not. So if required, these setter methods can do that. Now first I'll explain you how to use that, then I'll explain more about them. Let us set length and breadth for this rectangle and use it. Now this rectangle object is having two more methods, that is get a length method and set a length method, right? Just in short I am writing here. So no problem if you can't read it, no problem. So you know these methods, right? And two more methods are possible, so assume they are there, okay? Now I want to set the length and set the breadth. Total 4 more methods are there. Get length, get breadth, set breadth. Now how to set the length? R dot set length. Can I call this? Yes, this is public. So this is public, right? We made these methods as public. I can call these methods. Set length, and I want to set the length as 10. Then say R dot set breadth, right? And set the breadth as 5. That's it. I have set the length and I have set the breadth. So if I pass length as -10, then it will take it as 0. So if I send -10, it will see that it is not greater than 0. So it will set the length as 0. So positive length and breadth. Now you call system.out.println r.area, right? r.area. So this is how we can access those properties by using setter and getter methods. So that's all about these properties methods. So this data hiding is very common thing and it makes our data more organized and classes more organized. So because of them we have to write getter setter methods. Getter setter methods are very famous and very common in object-oriented programming. So we'll be using them slowly. At many places we'll come across such methods. So that's all about data hiding and property methods.